Salve a tutti ragazzi, sono SenseGame8 e bentornati sul testamento di Sherlock Holmes, il secondo let's play, non il secondo let's play, la seconda puntata del let's play che sto facendo è, questo qua. Continuiamo. Eravamo rimasti che dovevamo leggere il giornale perché Watson ci ha detto che ci sono delle notizie terrificanti. Allora, leggiamo qui. Sherlock Holmes a casa della marchesa ieri celebrare Sherlock Holmes ieri una condizione.
Ok. Prince Woodville, French culinary expert and bagpipe player, might be our next king. That's not so shocking, my dear fellow.
You know exactly to which article I'm referring, Holmes. How can Farley dare to tarnish your reputation like that?
You know, Watson, that wherever glory walks, jealousy is bound to follow. As for the forgery of the necklace, I suspect that we shall soon be enlightened in this regard. Come in, Inspector Baines, the door's open.
Ah, Mr. Holmes. How did you know I was here?
You are one of our rare visitors who avoids the second-to-last step of the stairs, which creaks dreadfully. And if I add the clinking of the handcuffs at your belt, to what do we owe the pleasure of your visit, Inspector?
Have you read that rag?
Sì che l'ho letto. Cosa? Calunnie.
Inspector, can you explain this slander? Has the necklace of the Samoas really been replaced by a fake?
I don't know how the reporter got hold of the information, but it's true. About the necklace, of course. I wouldn't permit myself to question the integrity and honesty of Mr. Holmes.
The necklace is a forgery? Impossible! I saw the Marquis authenticated before my very eyes, before Holmes returned it to its place.
Mr. Holmes, the Marquis believes Osmond Farley's theory. I shouldn't be surprised if the reporter isn't behind all this slander about you. He's a freelancer, well known for his explosive and subjective articles. In any case, the Marquis assures us that you were the last person to have the necklace in your hands.
Let's return to the Marquis's house, Holmes. I'm sure that we'll have no trouble in taking apart this theory.
It is unnecessary. Such allegations collapse on their own, like one of Mrs. Hudson's soufflés. Let us leave the police to solve this problem and turn our attention to the matters in hand.
Perhaps you are right, Holmes.
Inspector, I assume that you have the fake necklace with you. It's why you're here. Your superiors would like me to examine it.
Indeed. They would like you to confirm or deny putting this fake in the box.
Can't that wait? I must go to the house of Lord Peregrine Maitland, the Bishop of Knightsbridge.
Marchesa.
And the Marchioness?
She is beside herself. Without the necklace, her marriage is compromised. It is the principal item of the young woman's dowry.
What a lovely marriage.
Esame, quello dobbiamo girare
forgive me for insisting, but don't you want to examine the fake jewelry?
Watson, I have an appointment, and it's out of the question that I arrive late.
It will only take you a couple of minutes. You really must quell the suspicions put forward in this appalling article. If you will allow me, Inspector?
Be my guest.
Perché ci sono dei colpi di pistola nel muro? Avete visto, ragazzi? Aspetta che ve lo faccio vedere un secondo. Eccoli lì. Perché ci sono dei colpi di pistola? Mistero. Comunque andiamo a vedere. Allora parliamo con... Oppure dobbiamo andare a vedere... No. Ok. Parliamo con lui.
What do you think, Holmes?
Ah, basta, niente. Con Watson.
What do you think, Holmes?
Ah no, allora non ho capito bene. Allora forse dobbiamo... Qua? La porta. Ah, quindi posso entrare qua dentro. Ma qua non c'è niente. Non c'è assolutamente niente. Cosa devo fare? Il mistero soffitto. Allora, giriamo la stanza e poi andiamo ad aprire le porte. Qui mi sa che non si può fare niente, quindi... Comunque mi insospettiscono questi colpi di pistola. Allora, qua non siamo andati, andiamo a
I
vedere
cannot
cos'è.
leave now.
Ah, questa è la porta d'uscita. E allora andiamo qua dentro, cosa c'è? E non si può fare niente, raga. E non l'ho capito io. Cos'è successo? Non lo so, non lo so, non lo so. Ho soltanto una medaglia. Ma per ora non ci interessa. Vi giuro che non ho capito, ragazzi, cosa dovremmo fare. Qua si può aprire? No. Come posso parlare? Niente. Ah, eccola qua. Ho girato intorno per un anno qui. Allora. C'ha una perla.
This pearl is a different color.
Cosa c'ha di altro interessante? Questa è la più piccola.
This pearl is too small. It is not in its place here.
Infatti.
These 3 pearls are of poor quality. Too many defects. This necklace is a fake. This is
Certo
nothing but
che
a
è
vulgar
falsa.
copy, and at a glance it would appear that the forger has intended for it to be seen as such.
How could we have been fooled by such a blatant imitation? I don't understand.
Yes, how is it possible? Holmes, do you have a theory about this?
I have absolutely no idea. You insisted that I examine the necklace, and I have done so. Now it is important that I keep my appointment. I'm sure, Inspector, that you will throw some light on this affair.
Holmes.
You may accompany me, Watson, if you care to do so.
Goodbye, gentlemen. I'll keep you informed as to my inquiries.
Perfetto.
Goodbye, Inspector. You mentioned a bishop, didn't you? Are we going to his home?
Yes, the Bishop of Knightsbridge. I put his address on our map of London on my desk. Would you get it for me, please?
All right, Holmes.
Ah, sono Watson. Adesso sei il dottor Watson. Forte. Però sinceramente non ho capito di nuovo cosa devo fare. Allora forse devo prendere qualcosa qua dentro. Non lo sapevo sta cosa che posso utilizzare tutti e due. Ah, aspettate che c'è. Cos'è?
This bust was used to fool Colonel Moran during the case of the empty house.
Quindi non ci è servito niente, forse. No, sicuramente dobbiamo soltanto uscire.
Have you found my map of London?
Via Bianchina di Londra. Che c'è qua? Ah, eccola qua.
I have found your map.
Perfetto. Devo andare qui. E andiamo. Spero che non duri troppo questo video.
The police? Already? How did you know?
May we see the Bishop of Knightsbridge?
Yes. Yes, of course. But come in.
What has happened, Reverend?
What?
I don't know. It was last night, I think. I only just arrived, and I have made this macabre discovery. My God. How horrible. I haven't called anyone. How did you know that?
Holmes, look!
The Bishop,
dear.
appallingly mutilated.
How dreadful.
Mutilated. And killed. He was such a good man. How could anyone be so brutal? Look at him. He is barely recognizable now. How could any of God's children be responsible for that?
They were evidently unworthy children, Reverend. Now do please try to calm yourself and focus, because we will need your assistance. Do you have any idea as to the motive behind this?
I haven't had time to do an inventory, but nothing appears to have been stolen. And anyway, His Excellency didn't own anything of great value. I don't know what else I can tell you.
Note this down, please, Doctor.
Doctor? But you aren't the police?
No, Reverend. I am Sherlock Holmes, and this is Dr. Watson. We are here at the request of the Bishop.
In that case, I must ask you to leave. And not to touch anything. I must get in touch with the authorities without further delay.
Reverend, when the inspectors of Scotland Yard find themselves at a dead end, which they quite often do, I assure you, then they turn to me for help. If you will allow us to continue our investigation, then you shall have the answers to all of your questions.
Appunto, cretino.
Out of the question! I don't even know you! I'm going to call the police, whether you like it or not.
Ancora
It would be
questa
better for
polizia.
everyone, Reverend, if you kept your temper. Watson,
Questa
are you
testa
taking
dura.
notes? This affair promises to be a complex one. Therefore, we must not overlook the slightest detail.
Yes, Holmes. I am keeping a meticulous set of notes. I have created a very clever deduction board. One thing we can be sure of at the moment is that this crime was not for gain. The Reverend has informed us that nothing valuable was stolen, and indeed, it would seem that the Bishop had nothing of any worth to take.
Very good, Watson. Do continue.
Ricchezza. Per forza. Il vescovo non possiede niente di valore neanche nella cassaforte. Ho capito. Quindi usciamo. Sì. Adesso sei Sherlock Holmes. Ok, perfetto. E ragazzi, con questo mutilato morto, pieno di sangue, morto in una posizione strana, vi lascio e ci vediamo nella prossima puntata di Il Testamento di Sherlock Holmes. Cliccate mi piace, commentate e iscrivetevi. Ciao belli!
An elegant weapon for a more civilized age.